This is how you know Bronny James isn't an NBA player. The sheer fact that you can't critique him like he's an NBA player. Period. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Robe the King. I am here to react to... Excuse me, had to burp. This is Robe Reacts, by the way. I'm here to react to the segment on episode 806 of the Joe Budden podcast where they talk about Stephen A. and LeBron James's interaction. If you want to hear my reaction to Stephen A. reacting to it or responding to it, click the link after this video. I'll put it there. I'll put that there first. All right, I'll do that for y'all. Greatly appreciate y'all. And let me come right over here. Let me put myself right. Nope. Can I do that right now? I probably can't. Okay. Yeah. Because we're not advertising, y'all. Appreciate it, though. So I'll come right over here. And we'll do it that way. All right. So, again, this is Robe React. So, therefore, here are the rules of engagement. I will react to whatever I feel I need to react to. If you want to watch the actual video, go to the actual video. The title is right above there. So, go there. If you want to hear my reaction, this is me reacting to it. I don't want to hear in the comments, oh, you're talking too much. I'm reacting to it. I'm not going to always react with my face. I'm going to talk. And apparently, I got a lot to say from time to time. All right? And also, I blindly react. So I haven't listened to this yet. I'm a huge fan of this podcast. I'm a huge fan but mainly I'm a huge fan of Joe Budden. So I watch a lot of his stuff. I'm a patron of his on Patreon and all of that. But I'm not biased, and I'm not going to say he's right when I don't think he's right. I'm here to react, all right? So those are the rules of engagement. Let's get into it.
Conflicted. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. What's wrong?
The Braun and Stephen A. Smith stuff. I'm conflicted, and I want to just say why.
Go ahead.
You know, I'm not into sports.
Because he addressed it, but go on.
Yeah, I'm not into sports, but this came on my timeline, and me as a father, I understand how LeBron feel. But on the other hand, I understand what Stephen A. is saying is that if you know your son is not doing good on the team and you're the leader of this team, you shouldn't be that sensitive if you're allowing... if you're allowing him to play. Of course, he said that we know you didn't tell the coach to.
I don't like the word allowing, but it kind of is allowing because, in my opinion, he wouldn't have been in the NBA otherwise. And I know there are people out there saying, yes, he would have. No, he would not have. And if he was, he would have been out of the league by now. There are people that have been drafted with him, drafted above him, that were scoring more points than him, that are now out of the league or in the G League already, year one. So I don't want to hear that he would have been in the league. No, he would not have been. If his name wasn't LeBron Ramon James Jr., he would not be in the league. Stop it.
Put him in or whatever Steven said. But I do understand what Steven is saying. Like, if your son is out there and for some reason your influence got him on the team and he's able to play, he's up for scrutiny. He's up for ridicule. And to approach Stephen A. Smith and say, yo, leave my son out of it, I can't see Stephen A. saying anything bad about Bronny besides that he's not doing good and showing his average. I really feel that that's unfair. And it shows me that no matter how high you get there, no matter how high or successful you get on the ladder, there's still comments that may bother you and trigger you. So I'm in the middle of that. I'm dead in the middle because I wouldn't want nobody talking about my son, but I do understand what he's saying. Sometimes your son you need to hear that.
Right. Get better. Play better.
Okay.
Seize those moments. Prove people wrong. Prove them wrong. Otherwise, once I retire, you're going to be out of the league. I'm not security for you. And this might be the end of the road for you already.
Okay, where does everybody else stand in the LeBron versus Stephen A. debate? Does everybody know what happened at the Knicks-Lakers game? Knicks-Lakers game the other night. LeBron came over to him after the game. Looked like he had a heated conversation with him. and he stepped off. Some of the mouth readers out there said that it looked like that conversation was about Bronny. Stephen A. then went on First Take and addressed it. He said he said he didn't plan on addressing it, but the situation
Mouth readers is crazy. Lip readers.
had gone so viral that he has no choice. He woke up to all these texts from executives and coworkers and his peers. I don't know that I agree with that, by the way.
He wanted to address it.
I don't know that you have to reply to something because it's so viral. And if people are of that,
He had to reply to it because his bosses made him reply to it. They were texting him and calling him about it. So because of that, he had to reply to it. It wasn't just him like, oh, this is going viral, I'm going to talk about it. And also, I don't think you have to reply to everything either. But if a man is standing in my face, seemingly looking angry at me in front of thousands of people, and seemingly like yelling at me, I'm going to address it. I'm going to say what was being said, like this, and because I'm not going to leave that open to interpretation. The narrative that some man was just yelling at me and I was letting it rock. I'm not doing that. Come on now.
that belief, I think that should be reexamined.
Well, this is what he said. He said he can't repeat the words because they're not suited for FCC airwaves. But he said he said that he wasn't going to address it, but everything went viral. That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. He clearly
Parents have confronted reporters in the past. So that part I understand. He is a father, but then he said leave it off of Bronny, like basically like focus on me. And it's like, no, I am focusing on you, is what he was saying. Like, this is all because of you. The focus is you, sir.
took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. And basically said LeBron's agent has his number and can call him if he wants to.
I'm not calling you. I'm going to see you at the game, and then I'm going to talk to you. I'm not going to call you over the phone, sir. I'm a grown man. I am going to, like, that part I do understand. I do understand LeBron approaching him man to man. I do understand him not calling him over the phone. I want you to see my face. I want you to see how I feel about it. I want you to see me towering over you with the 6'8", 200-pound man that I am. I want you to see all of that. You know what I mean? I just disagree with the reason for why.
The side of Stephen A. in this one.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah.
Just because my job is to talk about sports, and it just so happens that your child is participating. I'm just doing my job.
Imagine that. I'm
going
doing
to
my
talk
job.
about him. If he's doing good,
He's on the Lakers.
we're going to talk about him. This is what happens.
Bro, exactly. If he was doing amazingly, if he was killing it, and like you wouldn't tell me to not talk about him, just focus on me. If he was doing amazingly, if this kid was scoring 40 points a game, you wouldn't say, stop talking about my son, just focus on me. But because I'm giving critiques and because it's on, the onus is on you on the downside, now you telling me not to do that. No. What's good for the goose ought to be good for the gander.
You used your name, you used your star power to get him here.
Exactly.
And to a lot of people, he's not delivering.
Meeting the standards, yeah.
Yeah, he's not meeting the standards. So, yeah, a lot of scrutiny is gonna come with that. LeBron caught scrutiny first year in the league just because of the name King James and all of the hype around him.
Yeah.
When there's hype around something and it doesn't live up to the hype, people gonna talk.
Right.
So now you've used your name to get your son here. Yeah, people were already against that move.
Right.
So now if your son proves everybody wrong, we don't have this conversation. But unfortunately, he's proven a lot of people right.
Right.
So they're going to point out, hey, we told y'all about him. They're going to talk about him. He's an athlete in the NBA. We talk about athletes.
Period.
All right, I hate to find myself on the exact opposite side of this. I'm on LeBron's side. I'm on LeBron's side with this.
Why? Do you think that Stephen A. takes the opportunity to be extra critical because it's LeBron's son?
I think all of the people that, let me not say all, I think a lot of the people that are critical of Bronny James, it's A, because of their relationship with his dad, or B, because it's a ratings chase. Bronny James, like everybody, if we at the card table, let's see everybody's hand for real. I don't want to hear that he's a player. I criticize players, so it's fair game. That's not true. There's not been another 56 pick in the draft that's been covered this way.
Well, there's not been another 56 player in the draft that's been covered whose dad put them in the NBA. Okay, so if you're a 56 pick, we're going to act like you're a 56 pick, but you're not a 56 pick. You shouldn't have been drafted is the point. There's not a 56 player in the NBA that is currently that is producing that way and is still on an NBA roster and is still getting NBA minutes. So this is different. So no, it's completely different. So if you're saying that your son is that good and he deserves X, Y, and Z chance and he should be here and he's getting those type of minutes, and also there's not another 56 player on an NBA roster that is scoring 0 points a game, 0 assists a game, 0 rebounds a game, and is still in the daggone NBA. It's not happening. There's plenty of people that were drafted this year, same draft class as Bronny, that are no longer in the league, but yet he still is. And so that's how we're scrutinizing him. He was saying the whole time, Stephen A was saying, you're embarrassing him. This is embarrassing. You're putting him in this position that he's not ready for. You're doing him a disservice. You're not helping him. You're hurting him. That's where he's coming from.
I see.
That's been critiqued this way. He ain't played enough to be critiqued. He's critiqued when he's not.
He has played enough. He played G League games. He's scoring 30 in the G League. He's played enough.
Not in the game.
And he's played enough for a 56 pick. Stop it.
I understand what you're saying.
And you're doing that because of ratings. The same way the NBA aired for the first time.
And but isn't the NBA an entertainment business? The NBA is labeled as an entertainment business. So yeah, we're doing certain things for ratings. Yeah, because those things get ratings. We're also, I said this on the last video that I did, is that the Lakers are in a big market, the Knicks are in a big market, the Giants are in a big market, the Jets are in a big market, the Dallas Cowboys are in a big market. We're going to talk about those teams. The Golden State Warriors are in a big market. So if they're doing anything, we're going to cover that because that's where we get our ratings from, that's where we get our money from, and that's how we get to stay on the air. We're going to continue to cover those things. Even if it comes down to Bronny James, who is a YouTube, Instagram, TikTok sensation who has millions and millions of followers. Yes, we're going to follow him because he brings in eyes. He brings us viewership. We're critiquing him as a person that is in the NBA and has felt as if they have earned this spot. Stop it.
Ever the second day of the draft because of ratings. Mm-hmm. The only people who should be up to evaluate Bronny James' game is A, his dad, B, the organization that drafted him.
True.
I don't want to hear about LeBron using his strings to get him drafted because Bronny James, from what we've seen, is doing better than some of the people that were drafted after him. Well, all the people that were drafted after him and some of the people that were drafted before him. So
no, he's not.
There are great basketball minds that are watching this kid and banking on some of the greatest genes in the world.
And that's the thing. You're calling him a kid, and Bronny James is 20 years old. We got to stop talking about him like he's 15 years old. He's a grown man, and he gets scrutinized just like the rest of them. Who said that? Who thought that this wasn't going to come? Whoever thought that this type of scrutiny wasn't going to come along with the LeBron James name is fooling themselves. If that is what the James family thought, then they are poorly mistaken. That was never the case. It was always going to be like that. Whether he did well or whether he did poorly. Your dad is LeBron James. The eagle eye is on you. Are you kidding me?
And one of the greatest teachers and players ever, helping to develop this guy into an official NBA player. I don't want to hear y'all attacking him because of ratings.
They're attacking
Stephen A don't fuck with LeBron. He said that in his response. He continued to say, me and him don't necessarily see eye to eye.
That is not what he said. That's not what he said. He said when we see each other, it's high and by. He said that he puts him in the category of one of the 2 best players to ever touch a basketball. So that is not what he said. He's never said that he doesn't mess with LeBron. That is not what he said. He said when they see each other, they say hi, they're cordial, but they don't really speak like that. He said that his agent has his number. So if I'm not cool with somebody, I'm telling them to lose my number. I'm not telling them to call me. That is not what he said. You're mincing words and you're messing the words up to support your stupid narrative.
On a few things.
Got it.
And it's been that way for some years.
They don't see eye to eye with who the best player to ever play basketball is. Stephen A thinks it's Michael Jordan. LeBron thinks it's him. That's what they don't see eye to eye on. And apparently this topic as well.
So if it's been that way for years,
Well, I comment.
You making up a narrative. That is not what he said. Stop.
I know that you do your job.
Joe Budden does this all the time. He'll create some sort of narrative and say that this is what it was, and then he'll go with it to make himself right. And that's not true. That's not true what you're saying. He don't have any gripe against LeBron other than him saying that he's the greatest basketball player ever, and that's his opinion. And that's not even a slight. He always talks about what a wonderful man he is, what a humanitarian he is, what a thespian he is, all of that. He's always applauding LeBron, saying and then he even said that night, he went on to have a great night of playing basketball. He said he had a great night. What do you like? This is not somebody who hates somebody, and this is not the narrative of somebody who hates another person. And so now I'm gonna talk about your child because I don't like you. That's not what this is.
As it pertains to me, I'm one of the people that I've been faced with scrutiny long before my first NBA game. I've been probably the most scrutinized player in the history of the sport since early high school when my games was on ESPN2 and all the Rapids was coming out. I invented this thing. That don't have to have nothing to do with my son. LeBron didn't do nothing that any other dad in the world wouldn't do for his kid.
I agree with that.
I would not do that. I would absolutely not do that. I would prepare my son the best way that I could, but I'm gonna be hands off and let him get there however he needs to get there. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to prepare you for it. Yeah, I'm going to put you in the right spaces, but I'm not going to leverage my weight and say, oh, I'm going to go wherever my son goes. This is what was said. Rich Paul has said this. LeBron is going to go wherever his son goes. So if he doesn't, so that was the whole thing. And so that he made it a point to the Lakers that that's what they wanted to do. The Lakers have said, oh yeah, we want Bronny James. Why is that? Because LeBron wanted Bronny James. He's been saying for years that he wanted to play with his son. Why would the Lakers not do that? He's been leveraging it for at least the past 5 years. So this is not what every father would do. Let me say this, better take. This is not what every good father would do. If you're not ready, I'm not going to put you in a position to fail. You're not ready. So I'm like I said, I'm gonna do whatever I can to help you get ready. You didn't hear Del Curry talking about something. Well, I'm gonna stay in the league until my son gets in the league, and you gotta put my son on the team. And da 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 da. Del Curry was quiet about it until his son was good, and then everybody was like, "Hey, ain't you Del Curry's son?" Yeah. I'm Stephen Curry. Yeah, I'm Del Curry's son. My dad shot threes in the league too. You know what I mean? Doc Rivers I'm not saying they wasn't making moves, but they were putting them in position to excel. But if they weren't good enough, they just weren't good enough. Michael Jordan, they just weren't good enough. What's his son's name? I think it's Jeffrey and Marcus. You know what I mean? They just weren't good enough. Not saying that they weren't good, not saying they weren't decent. They probably were better than me because they could dunk, but they weren't good enough. So it's not to say that every father would ever do this. King Griffey and his son, they were on the same team. It wasn't like draft my son or else. King Griffey Jr. was good. King Griffey Jr. was great.
I agree with that part.
We're not seeing that.
I agree.
This is not something that every father would do. Stop.
With that part, 100%.
So if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as a dad, and you would...
That's not what you're supposed to do as a dad. That's not what you're supposed to do as a dad. You're supposed to set your child up for success as a dad. You're not supposed to just be like, oh, okay, well, you're not prepared for this. I'm going to put you in this role that you're not prepared for, and then I'm just going to get mad at everybody who scrutinizes you and critiques you about anything that you ever do. That's not a good dad. That's not a good dad.
Do it too, because you're a dad, everybody's a
100%.
dad. It's not for you to come and hide behind the guise of your job to use and manipulate my son's role to just attack certain things when it's not fair. It's not fair.
You just
I
saying
think it's fair
words. Be
to
quiet.
criticize
Be quiet, Joe.
Bronny if you're doing the same scrutiny to other players in the G League or whatever developmental situation he's playing under, which they're not.
But he's doing both, right? Ain't Brian
They're not.
G League and Laker?
I can't. I'm not even listening to what.
Whatever
I'm not even
his
listening to what
team
Park's
is
saying.
asking him to do.
Do you not think that? Okay, so
his
I see
team
what
is
you're
doing.
saying. That's all right.
His team is doing whatever he's asking them to do, not the other way around.
And when Mark and Ish was on that shit months ago,
Yeah.
I stand on the side of you shouldn't critique someone's child in a certain way. See, we never.
Bro, everybody is somebody's child. Again, Bronny is 20 years old. LeBron came in the league and he was 19 years old when he came into the league. They were critiquing him as a grown man because that's the position that you take. Kobe Bryant was 17. They were critiquing him as a grown man. Serena Williams was 15, 14, I think. Venus was about 14, 15 years old when they came into their league. You know what I mean? Like, yo, everybody gets scrutinized. Everybody is somebody's child. Like this is not this. Like you just saying stuff, bro. This makes absolutely no sense. And apparently that's okay for everybody else who isn't named LeBron James. I'm tired of this, and I'm tired of you LeBron sexuals out there that just that everybody else deserves a critique, but don't say anything about LeBron James because he scored 50,000 points in the league and he been in the league for 20,000 years and all of this type of stuff, and that makes him the greatest, and all of these faulty and stupid arguments that they all make. I've learned this, that these overly charged LeBron fans, a lot of times y'all not seeing logic for what it is, and I'm sick and tired of that junk, man. We got to look at stuff logically. Everybody is somebody's child. So why the heck is it different for LeBron's child? It's not.
Never saw a dad and his son in the league at the same time.
That's what
We've seen a critique someone's child in a certain way. See, we never saw a dad.
It ain't even about a critique. It ain't even about how you critique. It's the simple fact that you critique. And Stephen A. never said anything out of the way. His critique was to LeBron. His critique was always to LeBron. Why are you allowing this to go on? He's clearly not ready. That's not a good father.
Dad and his son in the league at the same time.
That's really.
We've seen
Again, Ken Griffey Jr. They're not in the NBA, but there's been dads in the same league as they. Stop.
Seen players' kids, but not with their dad
Right there.
active.
Mm-hmm. See, I think you could critique the kid,
critique, yeah.
but I think that it should be fair. Like it goes even to what Chuck was saying about ESPN without saying.
Y'all skewing it when y'all saying kid. It puts in people's minds that he's a child, and he's not. This is a grown man. 20 years old, that's in the league with another grown man who was privileged enough, who was God gifted enough to continue to still be playing. This is more of a credit to LeBron than it is to his son. That's all it's ever been. That's all it's ever been. Oh, look at the longevity of LeBron. Look at the foresight of LeBron. Look at the pull that LeBron has to get his son into the league. This was never about Bronny's talent, ever. When he was in high school, I'm like, bro, he don't look NBA ready. Nah, he NBA ready. I'm like, bro, all of the clips that I'm seeing are him in the coming downhill. I'm not really seeing him in the half court. I'm not really seeing a half court offense from him. I don't know. All right, well, that's all it is. In college is full court. They run for, okay, cool. Let's see him in college. I understand. Granted, he had the heart attack. No offense there. I understand that. But he not ready. Again, the kid had a heart attack. Got all of his legs up on the road. Nah, he ready though. He should go to the league. Okay, so now he's in the league. I said he wasn't ready in high school. I said he wasn't ready in college, and y'all kept saying that he ready, and he was one and done. So he's one and done, and now everybody arguing why is he in the league and all of that type of stuff. This was never about Bronny. This was always about LeBron. If his name wasn't LeBron Raymond James Jr., we wouldn't even be having this conversation. If his name wasn't LeBron Raymond James Jr., he would be out of the league with all of the people under him that were drafted after him. Stop it.
It was about ESPN. I don't know if you saw that last night. He went on a little rant about how they cover nothing but the Lakers and the Warriors when there's the Cavs and I forgot, OKC doing great. They don't ever cover them, which I agree. That's been my criticism of ESPN for a minute, at least in terms of NFL. Like we're talking about the Patriots and the Cowboys. Who gives a fuck? They're not relevant.
Listen.
So I think that same thing can be applied here. Like if he's not relevant or playing an irrelevant role, it's why are we covering it?
This is still business.
We're covering it because he's still in the league, and we're covering it because he's still on the team. We're covering it because we've been covering it. We're covering it because this was the same thing that y'all were talking about in the beginning of the season that everybody thought was so amazing. So we're covering it because people want to hear about it, and that's all a part of the business. You are part of a business, LeBron. Your son, this is the same business that you knew about for the past however many years. This goes back to when you were in high school, maybe even middle school, that you've known about the business and you know the critique that comes with it. And then you allow your son to be involved in it or even thrust him into this position and then say, hey, not so hard on him. Hey, take it easy on him. That's not right. How y'all doing? You put them into the business. This is how it's done. When you're not doing well, they talk about you. When you're doing great, they talk about you. So the same critics that you're gonna critique for admonishing your son, you're gonna be like, yeah, you're not gonna stop them from praising your son. It goes both ways. So we're talking about him because we were talking about him when it first happened, and so people want to keep an update on it, and people want to say, hey man, this thing isn't necessarily panning out. Guaranteed, they're not gonna be talking about it next year.
That's why we cover.
How about that? They're not going to talk about it next year.
It.
And stop.
Well, hold on, y'all. All
right.
Hold on. In a world where niggas is getting fired left and right, ratings be down in these places.
Yep.
This person losing a show. This person losing a show. We have to do what we got to do to keep these eyes on us to do our jobs. So it is talking about the Lakers. It is talking about the Cowboys for them. Mm-hmm. Whoever they're bored, that works for them. You got your son on the Lakers. You are the face. You are him in the NBA. We're going to talk about him.
Period.
See, I even call cap on that. You have been the #1 rated morning show for 13 years. You are essentially the face of this network. If there's anybody that will be allowed to go off a script or change what the script is, it's you. So if you coming into work, dog, if we come into work 10 pods in a row and I'm beating the topic down to the point that why are we even talking about this, I do expect somebody to say, hey.
And that's not happening. And that wasn't happening. Again, another false narrative. They go shows without even bringing up Bronny James. I be forgetting that he in the league. They go days and weeks without bringing up this boy. Y'all need to stop it, man. You need to stop it, Joe. Because they're not beating it. They're not beating it into a pulp. They're not beating a dead horse. No, this came up later, and he talked about him, and he hadn't talked about him in a while. So this wasn't like an everyday, hey, on Bronny James news, because we know we got a segment on it every single day. That's not occurring.
Hey, dog.
False narrative.
Enough now.
I got you.
This is what I mean about Joe. He'll just say stuff to try to win an argument and just, I guess, the podcast. And then you put out this false narrative that these things were happening and they actually weren't happening. Nobody's talking about Bronny James every single day. He brought it up. It was kind of like, wait a minute, let's check in on what Bronny James is doing. Let's check in on how he's been doing since he's so NBA ready, since he deserves to be in the league. Remember y'all was saying he deserves to be in the league? Let's talk about, let's see how he's doing. Oh, snap, he's not really doing that well. So let me update the folks on what's happening. This isn't malicious. We're journalists. We're journaling. He's doing his job. Stop acting like this is the same type of trade or the same type of draft or the same type of way that anybody else has gotten into the league ever.
Pre-production meeting.
Granted, there's nepotism all over the NBA. There's nepotism all over just simply because people are tied to the league. Even you could be the best basketball player in the world, but if you don't know the right people, you're not getting into the league. Chris Paul talked about it. There's certain people that have talked about that in the past. I'm like, man, I know a dude down the block that was better than me, but because he didn't get into the right circles, because he didn't have the right grades, because he wasn't in the right school, he didn't get the right looks that he needed to get in order to be able to get to the position that I'm in. Stop.
It's because on TV you have meetings. Stop. And LeBron know what time it is, like I know what time it is. Y'all are talking about the hot topics, the things that drive ratings. You've done your
and you know that. So what's wrong with that? Because you do the same thing.
Research this.
You thrive on talking about the hot topics. You actually, in some instances, you become the hot topic. Joe Budden will talk about stuff that happened to him because people are talking about it. So stop.
Analytics. So we're going to give you, same thing Charles Barkley said, who's the GOAT, LeBron or Jordan? They're going to give you Lakers talk, Dallas Cowboys talk, no matter what's going on in the sport.
Right.
Some people say that's a large part of why the sports commentary is dwindling down the drain.
I think that's the problem. I think that Stephen A. in particular is compelling and talented enough to make great storylines about anything else.
He's great. He's one of the GOAT to this shit.
Yeah. But this works. We know what works.
Yeah, it's low-hanging fruit.
It's
low-hanging fruit.
It's not low-hanging fruit. It's just the topic that we supposed to be talking about. What happens? Again, bro, if this kid was scoring 10 points a game, everybody would have been saying, oh, he's a genius. Remember, they were saying that he was NBA ready. Remember, they were saying that he's an NBA talent and how he plays defense on an NBA level. What happened to that? Stop. It's not no low-hanging fruit. Oh, we're going to talk about it because, no, we got to, and guess what news talks about? It talks about low-hanging fruit. That's what it's sports news. Why are you and I hate it. People just don't want somebody to talk about something, so now all of a sudden we changing up the rules about how it's always ever been just because it disinterests them or because it doesn't paint them in the greatest of lights.
It's just like what you just said. If you came in here 10 pods in a row talking about something, Drake do something, we get an uptick. Why? Because they want to see you talk about Drake.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. They want to see Stephen A. They want to see Skip hate on LeBron. They want to see these people who have built their brands on that.
I absolutely love your example. And you know the history of Drake in this podcast. We wouldn't speak about his child. His child is doing songs. Great example.
His child is freaking 6 years old. Bronny is 20 years old. Stop talking about this young man as if he's 9 years old in the league. He's not. He went to college, and then he went to college. He graduated high school, went to college for 1 year. Now he is in the NBA. Bronny is 20 years old. It's the same age as some of these people that you talk about who are also somebody's child. They just don't happen to be LeBron James. They just not LeBron James's child. But you talk about people that are 20 years old on this podcast and you critique them. Stop. And I've heard you say F this person and F that person, and they be all of 20 years old. Stop. This is what I'm saying, bro. This is not the same thing, or it is the same thing, and it is the same thing, and you trying to make it seem like it's some other sort of thing. It's news, and that's all we doing is covering it. Play better. Remember when Russell Westbrook was mad at people for calling him Russell Westbrook and all of that, and leave my family out of it? It's like, bro, play better. We ain't nobody talking about your family. Ain't nobody disrespecting your family. Play better. They the Westbrooks. Right now, you Russell Westbrook. We not calling your wife Mrs. Russell Westbrook. We calling you Russell Westbrook because you're not playing well. You play better. Stop trying to make this about something else and do all of this smoke and mirrors stuff. I'm not falling for it. You may have gotten everybody else and you may turn everybody else. I'm not falling for it. I'll just say that.
His child is doing songs. Kanye's child is doing songs. We would not get on air and critique a fucking kid's.
North is what, maybe 12? She's 11, 10, 11, 12. Still not of age. You know what I mean? She's still not 20. So people talk about you. You're somebody's child.
That way.
Well,
we talking. That's just totally different.
Really
What's the difference?
Those are toddlers versus adults.
Exactly.
I think same rules apply. If you talk about somebody's kid, you talk about somebody's kid.
We're all somebody's kid. So the same rules apply. You wouldn't have a podcast. Joe, you wouldn't have a podcast if you stopped talking about somebody's kid. If the same rules apply, Joe Budden Jr. would not have a podcast.
But you only saying
totally
that because
different.
the kid is with the father. You're seeing them together because everybody's somebody's child. If you want to technically speak, we all somebody's child.
Not even technically, we're all somebody's child.
So you're saying that they're both playing on the team, and you're actually seeing a father and a son play together. So it's different because you're seeing he have to be a father, not only a father, a coach, and a mentor at the same time.
Yes, if
so
everybody's father was standing next to you.
I got you. I agree with
whatever
that.
you would say to me, you might not say it
Never.
if my dad was standing right
No,
next
I
to
would
me.
not.
Right?
I think the parallel.
I would say it to you. I would say I'm comfortable with saying everything that Stephen A. said about Bronny James to LeBron James with Bronny James sitting there. I'm comfortable with that. It was tasteful. It wasn't out of place. It was just the truth. And a lot of times people don't like the truth.
And your example would be is if we definitely talk about Drake a lot here, but it's when things are in the news. It would be if we came in here, rain, sleet, snail, whatever,
and forced him
and
in.
talked about Drake.
You can't do it
when it's not relevant, or Kendrick, or whoever, fill in the blank, Kanye West, whoever.
So when LeBron says to him, leave my son out the shit, so LeBron is aware that, yo, I know you don't fuck with me. I know you go out your way to talk about me, but don't bring my son into it, basically.
Yeah.
Got it. So
Yeah.
Leave my son out of our beef.
Yeah, I'm on your side now.
They don't have no beef. That's the thing. And Joe has started that narrative, and now the conversation has switched because he's introduced two false narratives. He's introduced the false narrative that they have beef, and he's also introduced the false narrative that he talks about Bronny every single show. And neither one of those things are true.
But
you are covering my child in a manner to which you and I know why you're doing it.
Got it.
The last time that I reached out, because this has been going on for some months, the last time that I told Rich Paul and them to reach out to you and speak to you about it, you went on air and said that was pussy, or that was corny, or whatever the word was that he used at the time. So now when he does this address and says, LeBron has my number, Rich Paul has my number, Dallas has Dallas Carter. Maverick Carter, I'm sorry, has my number. Okay, no, dog. Stephen A. is from Queens.
Yes.
You know on-site rules.
That part I agree with. I'm going to come to you and I'm going to talk to you as a man about how I feel. I don't need to have no other person talk to you, and no liaison, none of that, no middleman, none of that. I'm going to confront you. Now, it may not be in front of thousands of people who can record and all of that, but I'm going to confront you. Yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't like that part. Like where he's like, oh, he could have called me. No, I'm going to see you when I see you.
You know on-site rules. I didn't want to reach out to you. We tried that a few months ago. It didn't work. You went back on air saying whatever you said that you got a problem with. They haven't been specific about that, so I won't try to pretend.
Yeah,
but I've seen enough clips to where it's like, that's harsh for somebody's kid. So if I felt like that watching.
Everybody's somebody's kid. And Bronny James is 20 years old. Stop that narrative.
He gonna feel like that watching. It ain't fun.
He love like when you do that, you make him sound like he's 12. He not. He's 20.
On time, homie.
I'm gonna see you when I see you.
When I see you at the game, I'm gonna say something to you.
You have to remember, Joe, that you are from the soil. People that's not from the, I'm not talking about Stephen A. You're from the soil, so your principles and morals lie different. You and I'm not taking anything from you neither, Freeze. I'm just saying, like, some people that experience that give grace when they see a parent with their kid, we come from a different background when it comes to that. A lot of people don't have those same sentiments. It's all fair and game. See, if your mom is there, if I see somebody,
if I can't critique Bronny James like he's an NBA player, and this is the end all to be all. And I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna clip this up. This is gonna go right in the front. This is how you know Bronny James isn't an NBA player. The sheer fact that you can't critique him like he's an NBA player. Period.
and their mom is there and I have an issue, I'm not saying anything. You get in the path, I'm not even going to talk to you. I'm even going to say hello. I don't play like that because I believe in that and I would want that same grace. Mm-hmm. Some niggas don't care.
Where I come from, this is on page 1 of the learning handbook. Yeah. You don't talk about nobody kids. I don't care what's going on. There could be big stories.
And we've already addressed that. I won't have to keep going in on that because that's another false narrative. As if Bronny James is the only child of somebody in this world. Joe Budden wouldn't have a podcast if he wasn't talking about other people's kids. The show was built on talking about people's kids.
What's going on? I ain't never Remy kid.
Right.
Big stories. I never came here and said a word.
Not
you know how
all.
many kids
it'd be a lot
where
of
we
shit.
know their parents out there? I don't come in here and that's not my bag.
And we're not talking about bad things that they're doing or nefarious things that they're doing. We're literally just talking about what they do as a profession. And that's my job, to critique people on what they do as a profession. It's not my fault that the boy is your son and that you in the league while he in the league. That's not my problem. My job is to talk about the stories. He's in the league and I'm going to address it.
And I hope that would be reciprocated.
I agree.
Like, don't talk about mine in a certain way.
But that's what I'm saying. That's how you know he's not an NBA player. The sheer fact that you can't talk about him like he's an NBA player. That's how you know. Lay off. Don't talk about how he's scoring 0.9 points a game. Don't talk about that. Leave him alone. Don't talk about the facts. He's not an NBA player. And that, you confronting me at that Laker game, that was the nail in the coffin. And everybody's overlooking that. That's the nail in the coffin, is that y'all know he's not an NBA player. Because you coming up to me telling me not to critique him like he's an NBA player.
You look at it from a more of a media perspective.
Yeah, because I don't believe in talking about nobody kids either. I'm with y'all.
Yeah.
I'm with Bronny James in particular. This is still a professional athlete playing in this league.
Exactly.
It's not just we talking about you as
it's a G League type of player. 15th.
Jalen Brunson is Rick Brunson's son.
Do you not?
Don't ratings chase off my kid.
You get what I'm saying?
Do you not?
It's niggas. Steph Curry.
Joe,
Steph Curry is Del Curry's son.
Do you not take into account?
Del Curry ain't really been in the game since the divorce. And when
Not true. Del Curry was at the Charlotte Hornets game because first of all, he's an announcer. So I'm sure he'll be at all the playoff games. So, and this is what I'm talking about. Joe just be talking. Del Curry is the official announcer, is the official color commentator for the Charlotte Hornets. So he has to color commentate 82 games out of the year, just as many games as the Warriors play. But guess he was at the Warriors game whenever he has to commentate for them when they playing the Warriors. When he at the Hornets game when they playing the Warriors, and I guarantee he's gonna be at the playoff game because you know daggone well the Hornets ain't making the playoffs. Joe Budden, stop just saying random stuff, bro. Just stop, man.
Even Dingio said some shit to Jalen.
And that's not his name. It's Dante DiVincenzo. And he played on your team for a whole year, and you still don't know that man daggone name.
Rick Brunson stepped up and said, yo, who the fuck are you talking to? Watch your mouth. You better walk over there. Like, you don't treat somebody kid that way with their dad standing right there.
No, I'm not mad at Bron.
Dad not standing right there. I'm on air talking to you about what you did.
Approach. I'm just saying in the who side
and
of
there's
my
a bunch of other
Stephen
shit
A.
to
doing
cover.
his job
Back
too.
to Charles Barkley's point.
Yeah.
Dog, y'all ain't covered the cat. We got 2 teams that's 50-10.
In markets
50-11.
And no disrespect, in markets that don't nobody give a fuck about outside of the markets. And
Exactly.
Bro,
Stop it.
Exactly.
what do we?
Stop it.
We know. I'm talking about from a media standpoint, bro. We know L.A., New York. We know the A markets. Cleveland and OKC are not A markets.
Exactly.
So them talking about them.
They're small markets, which is why Cleveland was so upset at LeBron when he left, because he took all the economy with him. It was a very big deal that he was there.
Doing this well. How many times we seen the finals and it was when it was Milwaukee versus who was it, Phoenix or something, and we was like, this is not the finals the league wants. Why? Because these are not the markets that we play to. We want to see New York. We want to see LA. We want to see Miami. We want to see these major cities. So we're going to talk about them with the major fan bases.
Hold on, wait. I'm going to ask him a question, Joe, please.
You're opening up a different...
Freeze, let me ask you a question.
No, he's not. No, he's not. We're going to talk about the Lakers because they're in a major market. So we're going to talk about everything about the Lakers that we can because they're in a major market. We're not opening up a whole new nothing. We're talking about them, and we're not talking about OKC and Cleveland because they're in a smaller market. And he trying to act like he don't understand that. And he always talking about the market. He's always talking about bigger situations. I remember when he was talking about like when he was on tour and how he jacked up his whole tour run because he didn't know about the about the numerical system, like when it came to sales and stuff like that. He wasn't doing the stats. He wasn't doing his work. He wasn't doing his homework because he would go on tour. This is Joe Budden. He would go on tour and just want to hit up stuff that he thought would ring off, not knowing that in certain places they were listening to him more than other places. So if he would have done his homework and would have looked up the specific places that were rocking with him more instead of just going off of, oh, I like going here and going there, he would have made a killing. That's what he knows that, and he knows better than that. I got that straight from the horse's mouth. You just saying stuff, bro. You just saying stuff.
What's up?
Do you look at a star, a celeb, do you look at them as that person and don't take account them being a parent, them being a father, them being a son, a daughter? Do you just take that away? Because you as a parent, you're very... When it comes to your daughter, I don't play. So you should understand that same sentiment.
That's why I said I understand.
But you're giving
Bron.
a caveat by saying that, but Bronny is out there, so he is subjected to be ridiculed. And I was on that same side when I listened to Stephen A's.
And that's all it is.
Excuse. I said, well, okay. But I didn't know what Joe just explained to me. I didn't know that he pulls things out the air to talk. I didn't know it was...
You see what I'm saying? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. And I'm not even a Stephen A. Smith fan. I've only been watching... or listening to First Take lately because Shannon Sharp is on there, and that's not what happens. And that's what I'm talking about. You put a false narrative out there, and then you change people's opinion based off of the false narrative. That's not right that he does that.
Yeah, I'm not mad. Like if you got a beef with me and you're using my kid now in your beef with me, that's fucked up. I'm not with that at all.
I think Bronny's open to criticism, but I think it should be fair in terms of his importance to the team in the sport.
And that's all it is. It's important that he's scoring 0.9 points a game. That's important. And that's important to the team. That's all it is.
Picking on him because he's Bron's kid as opposed
no one's picking on him.
Opposed to covering.
Why is this dude on the team? The same way that they was critiquing Thanasis. You know what I mean? It's like, why is Thanasis on the team? And Thanasis is no longer on the team. Bronny don't need the money.
Him like you would any other 15th man or G League player or 56th pick or whatever is where it's...
I agree.
Like we laugh at... We laugh, and this is not his child, but it's a relative. We laugh at Greek Freak's brother in the league, and he's 15th man on the bench.
I haven't watched this. I watched blindly, so he's just about to make the point that I made. I haven't watched this, I promise.
But it's a joke. Just
we
because
don't harp on him like they harp.
No. But his name ain't that. But I'm just saying, it's a joke making about the 15th man in the league because of your relation to somebody else. If his last name was something different and he wasn't, nobody would give a fuck.
Facts.
It's the same thing with Bron, but again, this is the mega star Bron we talking about, who the name alone brings in ratings. So now they're putting a spotlight on your kid.
See, but that's kind of the point too. I love all these examples you're using.
Why you looking at it like that?
I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
The Nassers caught a lot of jokes. We understand where the jokes came from, so we don't have to get into that. Mm-hmm. When he was away from the team, the Bucks slid and lost 19 or 21 or something stupid. I'm freestyling right now, but they were losing. He came back.
They were losing because Giannis missed his brother.
They started winning. Then the conversation was, oh shit, that guy we were joking on, his impact to the team, what he does to Greek Freak, and how he coaches on the sideline. Clearly,
he is not coaching. He's just supporting on the sidelines. He's not coaching. Stop.
Plays a part in their winning. Mm-hmm. Not a story in sight about it. That's the fucking point. When Bronny go out there and do something that is, when the G League, he had that little week where he did
he was cooking
23, 28, 30.
Yeah, 30
Mom's the word about that.
Uh-huh. No, it wasn't. Mom is not the word about that, obviously, and they highlighted that. The only reason why you know about that, you didn't watch the games, Joe. The only reason why you know about that is because they talked about it. Mom is not the word about that. You only know about it because they talked about it. You only know about it because they reported on it.
So if we playing the ratings game, well, we know how bad
it's not. Well, yeah, that's the truth. And y'all do the same thing. That's the other thing. You do the same thing. How often are y'all talking about something good that somebody did on this show? Y'all are critiquing, talking about somebody's kid for 3 hours.
News works.
Where that work in any, that's everything.
So now if I'm a dad, I'm stepping to all business, yo.
Got me.
Especially if I'm LeBron. Yeah.
But now
I'm the most powerful player in the league still. Y'all can't just say what y'all want to say about the James.
And exactly. He's the most powerful player in the league, which is so powerful that you can get your son, who is not NBA ready, to not just be on an NBA roster, but to actually play valuable NBA minutes.
Family.
Cool. I'm with you. Sports. Now, my only thing with that, I don't only want to see you do it to Stephen A. Smith now.
Exactly.
If that's your approach, you got to keep that energy with, because it ain't been just him that's been on your son like that. There's others out there who would be a little bit more aggressive.
Ain't nobody been on him. Not even Stephen A. Katz have not been on him.
At the Laker game?
Not enough, in my opinion.
Stephen A. said in his response, it's not that he just talks about the games. He covers the games. He's at the game. He's at Lakers versus Knicks on the sideline. These other niggas might not be there.
That's true.
Hey, as soon as this fourth quarter whistle finishes,
I'm coming over there.
I'm walking over there. When the Lakers, I was at the Laker Knicks game when they came to New York. Uh-huh. That building was packed in a way where, this is different from the other games. It's a lot more media. It's a lot more tourists. It's a lot more people. It's a lot more children. It's a lot more reporters. It's a lot of people. It's a lot more celebrities.
Hey, and that's my point about why they're not covering OKC and Cleveland.
I know they tired.
Laker Knicks, both of them doing good. It's a lot of shit here. We don't care about these small market teams like that, bro.
I don't want to get into small market.
But go ahead. No disrespect, please. I didn't. But that it's real.
I'm on LeBron's side.
Okay.
In this one.
Clearly.
Watch your mouth about my kid.
Good shit.
You could say what you want. I'm still going to do what I need to do. If I need to, you can say what you want. You was a dad. You came to me as a dad. I get it. But I'm going to keep doing what I need to do. You're going to do what you need to do as a dad. You're going to do what you need to do as a player. And I'm going to do what I need to do as a reporter. I'm going to do what I need to do as a journalist.
Yo. All right. What happened? Got some Poland Springs up in this piece.
Joe, what's this?
Poland Springs are good water.
That's good water, man.
Can I get another water, please? Like what?
Poland Spring ain't bad, man.
No, that's good.
Okay, I guess it's over. But yeah, that's my take on it. Robe, over and out. That was me reacting. You don't like my take? Put it in the comments. Love to have you. Like and subscribe. Grace and peace.